Coming up on this episode of Motorhead Garage, we're setting the gold standard for wheels as this Challenger goes from worst to Hurst.
You got gravity to deal with.
And we're breaking the laws of physics.
That may sound crazy.
That and more straight ahead.
You know, Rob, these were loose. I got 2 turns in each one of them.
Really?
That's absolutely. Welcome to Motorhead Garage. Well, today we got a problem here. This little Honda, the guy's got a ton of money in it. It's turbocharged. This is a 2-liter VTEC engine. Got about 485 horsepower here. But to take advantage of that turbocharger, you need a really sealed up exhaust system.
You really do.
Yeah. One of the things that happens is that turbocharger, the thermal mass, gets hot and cold, and you get all the vibration. It's hanging off of a set of stainless steel headers, and the bolts come loose. Then what happens?
But then you get an exhaust leak, you're losing power, you're getting soot all over the inside of your engine compartment.
That's right. And if you let it go long enough, you'll burn the gasket out. And a lot of times they're a metal gasket, so your exhaust will start to make a little path. Now you've got to start draw filing things. The bolts come loose. It's hard to keep them tight. So you got a solution, don't you?
I do, and you know, an ounce of prevention's worth a pound of cure. Let's just put some bolts in there that aren't going to back off in the first place.
Right. So this is Robert Hearn from Stage 8 Fasteners. Let's take a look at these locking fasteners and tell us what we do here.
Sure. Stage 8's been making locking fasteners for almost 30 years now. Everything from the space shuttle to military equipment to hot rods and header bolts.
Right.
And the concept is we put a groove in the bolt here. So when you put the bolt in and you torque it down, you can put a retainer over the head of the bolt that goes right up against a header or an abutment. In this case, we're going to hold the turbo bolts on.
Right.
And then a E-clip goes on to hold it in place.
Great.
It's as simple as that.
So even if the bolt loosens up a little, the gasket loses a little dimension, it can't turn, it can't come out.
It can't loosen. And you lose about 50% of your clamp value with just 5 degrees of rotation. We're going to prevent even that first degree of rotation.
That's great. So first thing we need to do, we need to take these bolts out here. Tell you what, grab this and you take that one out. I'll find a wrench here and I'll take the other one out. We'll go ahead and remove these bolts and start changing them.
All right, sounds good.
Gotta be long enough.
Yeah, they stick out the back about 3/4 of an inch.
And of course, these bolts on Stage 8 are stainless steel. They're pretty hard too. They're grade 8.
These are grade 8 bolts. Yeah, they're not stainless. The hardware is stainless because of the heat that's generated by the turbo.
Great. Now let me ask you, why couldn't we just use regular bolts and use thread locker on this?
With the temperature that this thing generates, that lasts, what, about 30 seconds?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So this is really the way to go.
This is the way to go. And you got to be careful. You can't actually just put a header bolt kit in here because the header bolt kits come with different hardware that'll actually melt on a turbo. So you got to actually buy the turbo kit, which comes with stainless steel retainers and E-clips.
Great. Okay, so let's go ahead and put the clip on, show them how that works.
Okay.
Here you go. Here's a clip. Oh, you got one?
I got one here. So what we're going to do here is put this clip over the head of the bolt so it butts up right against the head here. Right. We're going to do it so it won't loosen. So remember, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey.
Right.
Put this all the way down here. I'm not sure if you can see that, but that fits flush and that won't turn at all. Right. And we'll just take our little E-clip here and put our E-clip in. We're done.
Absolutely. Didn't even need a tool.
Didn't even need a tool. You might need a tool on this bottom one. It's kind of hard to reach, but.
Well, I was going to say, you know, I was going to get coffee, and you do the bottom bolts.
Sure, Sam. I'll take care of it for you.
Well, Rob, thanks for stopping by and showing that. Bottom bolts are going to be a little bit of work, so we're going to probably put this thing up in the air, take the lower splash pan down. While we're doing that, we're going to take a quick break. Stick around. We've got a lot more coming here at Motorhead Garage. I can't talk you into doing those bottom
Come on, let's get to work.
All right.
This episode of Motorhead Garage, presented by ARP, is being brought to you by ARP, the world leader in fastener technology. Steel rubber, quality crafted rubber parts and weather stripping. Stage 8, the world's best locking fastener. Original Parts Group, the world's largest source for GMA body parts and accessories. And by Flowmaster, the exhaust technology company.
Hey, welcome back to Motorhead Garage, folks. You know, changing oil is something you should do on a regular basis, and certainly with these transmissions, it's really important because transmission oil that goes bad, it can really create an expensive problem for you. Well, that's what we're doing here with this Volkswagen. We're changing the transmission fluid on this thing, but it's a little bit different, isn't it, Sam?
That's right. Now these transmissions take a very special oil. It's called the DSG, it's direct gearbox oil. You fill it from the same plug you drain it from, and that may sound crazy, but you're not going to go ahead and just pour fluid up. You got gravity to deal with, so you need a special tool. All right, so we're going to let this drain a little bit, and then we have a standpipe in there we need to remove. Once you take the drain plug out, the next thing is an 8mm Allen, goes up inside here, and then there's another piece inside, which Volkswagen Audi refers to as an overflow tube. It's really a standpipe. When you pull that out, there you go. Now you get the bulk of the oil out of it. This also sets you level. When you fill it, it's going to come up the standpipe and it's going to fill the pan. There's your level right there. It's all set.
Exactly. What you need are some specialty tools, and that's what we have here from Ossenmacher, their specialty tools. They've got a whole line of tools to work on these and other types of cars that have unique situations about them. In this particular case, what we have here is an oil fill kit. Now we got a container here that Sam's put about 5 quarts of transmission fluid in, and we got a pump. And what this does is you just pump air in here. That'll force the oil out through our hose, and to get it into the transmission here, we have a bunch of adapters for that.
That's right. And if you're going to do this kind of work, you got to have one of these. It's a driveline filler. It fills gearboxes, transfer cases. Now, in this whole kit of adapters, we selected this one to screw right into where the drain plug came out of this Volkswagen. And this slides in here, and it's got a ferrule in it, like a collet. You tighten that up. Now it's nice and tight, and you got a control valve. Now, this is what they call direct shift gearbox oil, or DSG oil. Pretty expensive, but you use the wrong oil, and you destroy your component.
All right, bud. Here. Put in your adapter.
Right. You go ahead and put that on there and
we'll
pump
get
us
this
up.
going.
So we put the adapter right up here in the gearbox where the fill plug came out of. Got a little knurl on it, tighten it up, bingo, we're done.
All right, now got our pump onto our container. And it's got a sleeve on it, so you want to push the sleeve all the way down so that it'll make contact with the bottom. That way you can get all of the oil out of there. All right, buddy, you ready?
Make sure the valve is cool. We hook up to here.
Okay.
Okay, that's good.
Ready?
You see I've got the valve closed.
All right, buddy.
You got some pressure there?
Got some pressure.
We open the valve. All right, now what we're doing is the AST driveline filler, Dave's pumping it, okay, and what's happening, pressure's forcing it through the hose. I got the valve open. We're going up inside, and that standpipe is up inside the transmission. Fluid's coming out of the top of it. When we get all 5 quarts of the fluid in there, we should be pretty close to level. We'll take this out. When we take the adapter out, any excess that drips out will be setting the level. So if you do it right and you have the car level, the transmission fluid level is going to be just exactly where it needs to be. The only way you're going to do this job is with the Ossenmacher differential and driveline fill system. They make a whole line of tools. They've got stud extractors, they've got the cooling system pressure testers, they've got Allen wrenches, all the specialized tools for working on these cars. You done good there, buddy?
I got it done here.
Okay,
You're
so
ready.
we'll close the valve, and then we'll loosen our little collet here, slide this off, let the little bit of excess come out. It's a great way to do this. It's the only way to get this job done.
It makes an impossible job a heck of a lot easier, that's for sure. All right, so once you reach that level, put the plug back in.
We're done.
We're in good shape. All right, what you see here is you let the excess oil drain out. Once it drains down like this, you know you're full.
Yep.
And Sam, go ahead and put in the plug.
That's right. When you put in the plug, just make sure it's got a little aluminum seal on it. And of course, Ossenmacher Specialty Tools makes the correct socket to put these things in and take them out. Does a great job. And this job is done.
You know, Sam, a lot of people are always saying, you know, you guys have all the right tools that make it look easy. Well, that's the trick. You got to have the right tools to do the right job. That's why we got this Ossenmacher Specialty Tool Kit. Hey, we're going to take a short break. We got a lot more coming here on Motorhead Garage, so stick around.
Nice job, buddy. Done.
This week's Original Parts Group restoration tip, we're going to be putting the final touches on our 76 Eldorado interior, capped off by these beautiful sill plates. Now they got a nice little tag in the center here, interior by Fleetwood, body by Fisher, just how the factory did it. Now for years and years and years, Original Parts Group, over 30 years, known as the king of the A-bodies, Chevelles and GTOs. But in the last several years, we've branched out into some of the bigger cars GM's had. We've got an extensive line of products for those as well now. Go online and order yourself a free catalog or give us a call toll free. George, today's going to finalize this beautiful black Eldorado with these sill plates.
These pieces come with their hardware. Easy install. They line up to all the factory holes. Got them started by hand, and just use a screwdriver or a light setting on your drill. Doesn't take much. And there you go. Especially after a brand new carpet, this is what really caps it off.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, you can see the finish now from that carpet. It finishes the edge. It's a nice way to cap off that interior. That's this week's OPGI restoration tip.
Motorhead Garage, presented by ARP, coming to you from Borla Commerce Park.
Hey, welcome back to Motorhead Garage. Well, you can see what I'm involved with doing right here. We got this brand new Dodge Challenger with a shaker edition. It's a Hemi, it's all white. What we're going to do is we're going to set this thing off like you can't believe with a brand new set of Hurst wheels. Now we got this thing jacked up here on our lift. I broke the nuts, the lug nuts loose, and now I'm just going to go ahead and pop these things loose, get this wheel off. Meantime, Sam is mounting the new tires on the new wheels.
Sam has already mounted it.
You're a good man.
Look at these wheels, they're beautiful. This has got a directional tire on it, 245s. They're 45, they're Z-Speed rated tires, nice and wide. I've got them all mounted, balanced, got the stick-on weights. This thing's got a great offset, tremendous back spacing. It's gonna look good in this car. You gotta take your time mounting these things. You don't wanna put any scratchers. You gotta have a good tire machine and know what you're doing.
Pull this off. Set this off to the side here, and we'll put this baby on there. Now, the thing you want to make sure is all this is nice and clean back here, which it is because it's brand new. Now, the old stock lug nuts won't work on this. You have to get some new ones because they're a little bit smaller that goes in here. And that's what we've done. Got a few of these. And I needed a different socket for these. I don't want to scratch anything. Let me get this started. There we go. We'll get these all in here, just finger tight, get them snugged up. Then we'll go ahead and torque them. But when I torque, I'm going to have to let the car down a little bit so the wheel doesn't turn.
These are the kind of wheels you'd expect from an icon like Hurst. And they've been doing high performance stuff for a long time. Look at how beautifully finished these wheels are. Each one of these wheels is hand inspected before it goes in the box and shipped to you, so it's blemish free when it leaves the factory. That's beautifully finished, sealed all the way around. Look at this, even the backside, all nice and coated. This is a good looking wheel. Now when you order your wheels, you want to make sure you get the right fitment. People talk about offset. You can see on this wheel, it's got almost zero offset in the front. That's pretty flat across there. The big thing is the back spacing. That positions the wheel where it's going to be inside the wheel opening. And what you want to do is measure from the flange to the outer lip here. A little straight edge like this will work. Put it across here. And this wheel is measuring about 5 1/4. So the back, that's the back spacing. And this particular wheel here, this is called the Dazzler. They also have two other wheels, the Stunner and the Shaker. They come in different diameters, different back spacing. You can get them from 16, 17. These are 20s. They really look neat in this car. When this car has all 4 of these wheels mounted, the nice tires on it, it's going to look like a Hurst Challenger. Really a nice setup. I had to go mount these things.
You want to make sure you hand torque these things. A lot of guys will take an impact gun and put them on. Not this guy. I don't want to mar it up, and I want it torqued properly. So what I'm doing is going down. I got my torque wrench going. And you go in a cross pattern on this. You just want to make sure you don't do it unevenly. Get this one started here. Push. I got this set about 85. which should be just about right for this. There we go. And there we go. There you have it. You can see how a beautiful wheel that is. Sam will get the others mounted. We'll get it on here. This car is going to look fantastic. We've got more coming. Stay with us here at Motorhead Garage. Hey, on this week's Industry Update, we are featuring Woodward Fab, and this is one of their latest things out, the 3-in-1 machine. Sam, if you got a shop and you're doing a fabrication, man, you can't be without this.
This will be your go-to machine because it's 3-in-1, takes up very little shop space, which is always precious. What you have is a box and pan brake, and you have a 30-inch here, and it'll cut up to 20-gauge steel.
20-gauge steel, yeah.
Right. Pull this off, and you've got 1.25 inch slip rolls, and they're grooved. You can roll wire that'll fit in those grooves, make yourself a ring.
Exactly, and of course down here, these fingers, you got different sized fingers. You can change those around for whatever size you need. Makes it easy to work with.
Right, and it's set up like a press brake, so you can do back-to-back bends within a 1/2 inch of each other. And again, there's a set of back stops that you can set the stops, so you can slide your material in, shear it, do the next one and repeat it and have the same dimension.
And it's got guides here on the back so that you can run your material in. This is something every shop should have. If you want more information about it, all you have to do is go to their website.
This edition of Motorhead Garage, presented by ARP, is being brought to you by Custom Auto Sound, the originator of classic car OEM fit radios since 1977. Triangle ATV, going deep. DeWitt Radiators, high-performance aluminum radiators for any application. Cowles Custom, proudly manufactured in the United States. And by Wide Open Company, the first in first-class enclosures.
Hey, welcome back to Motorhead Garage. Well, you can see what Sam and I are working on here. We got this little Jeep, and one of the things we're doing is getting ready to go ahead and replace the old stock radiator with one that is much, much better. This is from Lite. It's all aluminum, and it is quite a piece.
Yeah, this is a dual-core radiator. It's got 2 rows of cores. It's all aluminum, it's rigid on the side, so it's much stronger than this plastic and aluminum thing. It really makes a nice fit. You can get this with or without this electric fan. You can actually use the factory fan with a little modification, but with this electric cool fan here and the full shrouding, it comes factory assembled like this. It's a great way to go.
And of course, it's got these T-channels on each side of the tanks. It gives it a lot more strength, helps dissipate heat a lot better.
And this fan is 3,300 CFM. That moves a lot of air. That's what's important, the cubic feet per minute. It's an S-blade design, so it's quiet. And of course, you can see it's all fully shrouded. This is a really nice radiator, gonna make a big difference. And they make them in stock form with the outlets. If you're doing one of these Hemi conversions.
They got one for that too.
Right, you can get the radiator with the outlets in the right place to do it. And that's a real popular conversion in these Jeeps.
You know, it sure is, but you can see a big difference between what the stock unit looks like and what this one looks like. I'm going to go and get rid of this. I got another project I'm working on, Sammy.
All right, buddy. And the other thing we've got, of course, we've got the fan controller from Lite. It's fully adjustable. You can go from 180 degrees to 240 degrees where the fan comes on, totally controls it. And of course, if you have an automatic transmission, we have a Lite transmission cooler, which also does a great job. You can use it with this radiator, with the stock radiator, so it's a nice piece. Follow the instructions to install this radiator. It's real simple. A couple of unique things that they do here, they have these slots, and these T-bolts go in here, and you get nice lock nuts, nylock nuts with washers. You get 2 mounts. The original radiator had something like this that goes down into a place on the chassis, on the core support. Follow the instructions. You put the passenger side on. They give you a dimension, 5 3/4 inch from the bottom of the radiator. Don't put this one on yet. A couple little brackets to go up here, bolt on. Those accept the factory rubber bushings. That way it's nice and isolated, keeps the vibration off the radiator. Once you've got these 2 in and that on, you're ready to set it in. And of course, you're going to use these T-bolts in different places because we have an AC condenser in there. When we get the radiator set in, then the AC condenser will come up. The original radiator had some plastic parts. This is going to be bolted up much nicer. So take your time and just gently lower it down in place. Follow the instructions to set it in, and you should be in great shape. right, once you've got it in position, you lower it down. You want to make sure this lines up with where the original factory core support bolts went through. When we get this bolted in, then I'm going to test my hood clearance, make sure everything's good. These brackets are all adjustable. That way you make sure the hood doesn't sit down on it. When you got clearance there, you're all set to go. I'll tighten these up. Then I can hook up our radiator hoses. I'll go put my front mount on, do our air conditioner core support, have that hooked up there, and then we'll be in great shape. We'll be ready to wire our fan. The neat part is with this replacement radiator, the stock radiator hoses hook right up. You don't need to make any modifications. The next step is what I'll do is I'll mount my condenser. I'll get it centralized, bolted up using the T-bolts. We'll be in great shape. My next move will be following the instructions. They got a great wiring schematic. We're going to hook up our Lite fan controller. It's temperature adjustable. And again, it'll work thermostatically when the radiator coolant temperature gets up, fan cycles on, and you can adjust that from 180 to 240 degrees. It also can be wired so when you turn your AC on, when the compressor engages, the fans will run to keep the head pressure down by keeping the condenser cool. And then a manual override switch in the cab. You can shut the fan off totally, so if you're going over water, you won't suck it up. You can also override it, turn it on anytime you want. Lite makes a great aluminum radiator fan combination. Particularly, they got one for the 6-liter Fords, the Power Strokes, like in an F-350. You take off that big fan clutch and all that stuff that you got there, put the Lite radiator and fan combo in there. It does a great job of cooling that big diesel when it's running hard, and you take 20 pounds of weight off the front of that Power Stroke. Got to continue working on this right now. I'm out of time. We'll see you next time here at Motorhead Garage.